You've been told to be kind, to show emotion, to open up. But here's the truth no one told you. Emotion is a weapon. Not yours, theirs. The more you feel, the easier you are to control. The more you care, the more leverage they have over you. Let that sink in. Every time you react with anger, guilt, love, or fear, someone is guiding your behavior. Someone is pulling strings. You think you're acting from the heart, but you're just responding to pressure. That's why the powerful don't lead with emotion. They lead with control. They stay detached, focused, calculated, not because they're heartless, but because they understand the rules. Rule number 1. If you feel too much, you lose control. Let's go back in time. In the 1500s, a man named Machiavelli wrote The Prince. It wasn't a book about how to be good. It was about how to stay in power. He studied rulers, emperors, and kings, and he noticed something. The ones who won weren't the most kind, generous, or fair. They were the ones who understood people's emotions and didn't let emotions cloud their own judgment. He wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." Why? Because fear is predictable. Love is not. People can love you today and turn on you tomorrow. But if they fear crossing you, they think twice. They hesitate. They obey. That's the difference between popularity and power. Popularity fades. Power stays when built on control. And control starts with yourself. You can't control others until you control your own emotions. Let's break that down. Imagine someone insults you. They call you weak, stupid, useless. Most people react immediately. They defend themselves. They raise their voice. They try to win the moment. But in doing that, they've already lost. Because now they're responding emotionally. Now they're being pulled. You don't respond like that, not if you want control. Instead, you pause. Stay silent. Let their words hang. That silence, that calm, it's power. It tells them, you can't reach me. The more you react, the more power you give away. Think of emotions like buttons on your body. Every time someone presses one, anger, guilt, shame, love, they're testing how easily you can be moved. But when you stop reacting, you remove those buttons. You stop being readable. You stop being predictable. And once you're unpredictable, you're dangerous. Because now, no one knows what you'll do next. And people fear what they don't understand. This is the essence of emotional control. Silence, precision, calm action. That doesn't mean you never feel anything. You're human. But it does mean you never let emotion make your decisions. You don't chase. You don't beg. You don't explain. You move with intent. You let others show their emotions, expose their weaknesses, and you take notes. You observe, but you do not absorb. Understand this. Most people are ruled by emotion. They want to be liked. They want to be understood. They want to feel seen. That need, that's their weakness. You must be different. You don't need approval. You don't need to be liked. You don't need to explain yourself to anyone. You only need one thing: control. Control of your time, control of your focus, control of your emotions. And that control gives you power others can't touch. Power isn't loud. It's silent, clean, quiet. Let's take an example. You're in a meeting. A colleague tries to embarrass you publicly. They make a joke at your expense, hoping to throw you off. You could laugh nervously. You could fire back. You could get flustered. Or you could pause. Look them in the eye. Say nothing. That moment of silence, that changes the entire room. They feel the tension, the uncertainty. They can't tell what you're thinking. That silence becomes a mirror. It reflects their own insecurity, and everyone else sees it. Power comes not from saying more, but from needing to say less. This is how the emotionless win. They don't get dragged into small fights. They don't waste energy proving themselves. They stay calm. And when they speak, people listen, not because they shout, but because they speak with clarity. And clarity is rare in a world full of noise. Now let's talk about betrayal. You will be betrayed. Everyone is. Friends will lie. People will leave. Promises will break. Most react emotionally. They want revenge, closure, answers, but not you. You expected it. You prepared for it. You feel nothing. Why? Because betrayal is information. It tells you who someone really is. And information is valuable, not painful. You don't cry over it. You study it. You adapt. This is what Machiavelli meant when he said, "The wise man does at once what the fool does finally." The fool waits, hopes, wishes. The wise man sees clearly and acts quickly. You must become emotionally neutral. Not cold, not cruel. Neutral. That means when things go wrong, you don't panic. When people leave, they told you emotional intelligence means being kind, understanding, patient. Number true. Emotional intelligence is the ability to read others without being read yourself. It's not about sharing your feelings. It's about decoding theirs. It's a weapon, not a weakness. If you understand how emotions work, but you're not ruled by them, you become dangerous. Because you can see exactly where someone's soft spot is and never show your own. Let's break it down. Most people live in reaction mode. Someone smiles, they smile back. Someone insults them, they feel hurt. Someone ignores them, they panic. They're predictable. Their emotions are on display. Easy to read, easy to manipulate. You must be the opposite. You must be unreadable. Let others feel freely. You observe silently. Let others react. You remain still. Because when you control your face, your tone, your pace, you control the room. That's the first level of dominance. Invisibility. If they can't read you, they can't predict you. If they can't predict you, they can't control you. Now, let's go deeper. Machiavelli wrote about how people are not loyal by nature. They're loyal when it benefits them. Men are ungrateful, fickle, liars, and deceivers. That's not pessimism, that's observation. It means you shouldn't depend on loyalty. You should understand motivation. Don't ask, "Will they betray me?" Ask, when the pressure rises, what incentive will keep them loyal? This mindset shifts everything. You stop being surprised by people's actions. You start engineering situations. And that's what power really is. Creating environments where people act how you want. Not because you force them, but because you've shaped the incentives. But to do this, you need emotional distance. You must stop taking things personally. When someone ghosts you, insults you, betrays you, don't react. Study them. Ask, what triggered this? What do they fear? What do they want? People are always showing their cards. Through their tone, their timing, their silence, their posture. Most just don't pay attention, but you will. Because when you master emotional control, you stop being distracted by surface drama. You start seeing patterns, and that's when you stop playing defense and start playing offense. Control starts with restraint. When someone disrespects you, your first instinct might be to strike back. Don't. That's emotion. Resist that urge. That's the trap. Because if you react instantly, you're predictable. And if you're predictable, you're controllable. Instead, pause. Silence is pressure. Let them wonder what you're thinking. Let them feel that unease. People fear what they don't understand. That's why the calm one always wins. Not because they're the loudest, but because they're the most controlled. And control isn't flashy. It's subtle. A shift in posture, a delayed reply, a cold stare, a quiet exit. Power isn't about saying more. It's about saying less. And meaning every word. The strategy of detachment. You will never reach full control if you're attached to outcomes, people, or praise. Attachment is emotional weakness. You must learn to let go quickly. That doesn't mean being heartless. It means being clear. If something isn't working, don't force it. If someone doesn't respect you, don't explain. Withdraw. Silence is more powerful than begging. People remember who walked away, not who kept chasing. Machiavelli understood this well. He knew that rulers who begged to be loved were weak. Those who demanded respect, silently, strategically, kept power. So you must train yourself to not need closure, to not seek validation, to not chase anything that runs from you. Let people feel your absence. That teaches more than your presence ever could. Do not get emotionally involved with chaos. One of the oldest tactics in manipulation is emotional bait. Someone pushes your buttons. They lie, exaggerate, insult, or provoke to pull you off your center. Why? Because once you're emotional, you stop thinking clearly. You act impulsively. You expose yourself. This is how weak people bait strong ones into bad decisions. Don't fall for it. Always ask, what's the real game here? What are they trying to get me to do? If someone's loud, emotional, dramatic, they're covering up weakness. Control is quiet. The 3 emotional traps. Trap number 1, the need to be understood. Let this go. You don't need to explain yourself to everyone. In fact, the less they understand you, the more power you have. Mystery creates fear. Clarity creates comfort. You don't want to be comfortable. You want to be respected. Trap number 2, the fear of being alone. Loneliness is one of the greatest emotional weaknesses people carry. They stay in bad relationships. They tolerate disrespect, all because they fear silence. But you must embrace it. Solitude isn't weakness, it's preparation. When you're alone, your mind sharpens. You learn to need no one, and that makes your presence more valuable. Trap number 3, the desire for revenge. Revenge is emotional. It feels satisfying for a moment, but it gives the enemy your energy. The better move? Success, distance, indifference. Let them wonder why you're not reacting. Let them feel the weight of being ignored. Let them live in regret, while you move forward, untouched. The 5 traits of emotionally controlled leaders. Neutral expression. They don't show excitement. They don't show panic. They stay consistent, no matter what's happening. Controlled voice. They never raise their voice in anger or desperation. Their tone stays level, even in conflict. Measured response. They don't rush to speak. They pause, consider, then speak with precision. Silent power. They don't seek credit. They don't broadcast moves. Their presence is quiet, but felt. Emotional independence. They don't depend on praise, support, or reassurance. Their confidence is internal, not social. When you embody these, people start treating you differently. They sense something different. They don't know if it's confidence, danger, or discipline, but they feel it. And that's enough, because power doesn't require explanation. It requires perception. Influence is a psychological game. You don't influence people by force. You influence them by understanding what moves them and using it without being moved yourself. If someone fears rejection, you use scarcity. If someone craves praise, you use silence. If someone wants control, you give them the illusion of it, while you guide the outcome. This isn't manipulation, it's strategy. And strategy requires emotional control. You can't manipulate someone if you're emotionally involved. You can't lead if your feelings change your behavior every day. You must be the calm in the storm, the signal in the noise, the strategist in a world full of reactors. Now ask yourself, who really controls your emotions? Every day, things try to pull you off course. A comment from a stranger, a look from someone you care about, a message left unread, a delay in your plans. Do these things still affect you? Do you still respond automatically? If yes, you're still giving away power, but that can change. Right now, all it takes is one decision. From this moment on, I will not be emotionally led. I will observe, I will control, I will stay focused. You don't need to suppress every feeling, but you do need to master your response. Feelings are natural. Reactions are a choice. Choose strategy over sensitivity. Choose clarity over confusion. Choose power over panic. You are not here to be liked. You are here to lead. Leadership begins with emotional control. Influence begins with silence. Dominance begins with restraint. This is the Machiavellian path. No tears, no outbursts, no fear, just clarity, focus, and control. You've learned to control emotion. You've stopped reacting. You've detached from need. Now you enter the final stage, becoming untouchable. Not invincible, not perfect. Untouchable, meaning nothing outside of you can break you, not betrayal, not failure, not even success. You move in silence, you think in systems, you act with precision, and people feel it. They don't know what it is, but they sense you're different. Colder, sharper, more disciplined. You don't chase, you don't explain. You disappear when needed and return when it matters. This is what they fear most. Someone who doesn't need their validation and can walk away at any time. You learn to feel nothing. Now you learn to rule everything. Let's go deeper. 1. The power of non-reactivity. You've seen it already. People try to provoke you. They try to get a rise, because if they can get a reaction, they control the tempo. If they control your tempo, they control your outcome. Your power comes from freezing the tempo. No matter what's thrown at you, you keep your pace. You don't rush, you don't panic, you don't flinch. That stillness, it unnerves people. They can't tell what you're thinking. They don't know what you'll do next. And that unpredictability is power. You've become the ghost in their strategy, a variable they can't calculate. This is how you win, not by playing louder, but by becoming unreadable. 2. The end of neediness. Let's be clear. Most people fail because they still need something. They need love. They need recognition. They need revenge. They need closure. But every need is a chain. And you're here to break chains, not wear them. When you still need something from others, they hold power over you. But when you walk away without anger, without explanation, without regret, you become a phantom. That's the true power. Not detachment as a performance, but detachment as your nature. Not fake strength, real distance. No more clinging, no more chasing, no more waiting. You stop trying to fix people. You stop hoping they'll change. You accept, you move on, you upgrade. That's the difference between the average and the powerful. The average try to heal the world. The powerful outgrow it. Strategy. Over everything. Machiavelli didn't care about how things should be. He studied how things really are. He knew the world is ruled by self-interest, appearance, fear, and control. So he designed his life around reality, not morality. You must do the same. Stop expecting fairness. Stop expecting loyalty. Stop expecting people to act like you. Start planning for what actually happens, not what you wish would happen. This is strategy. It's not about being cold. It's about being real. Strategists don't cry when plans fail. They build new ones. They don't hope. They design. They don't react. They adapt. You don't get emotional about the chessboard. You move pieces, test positions, and eliminate threats. Because life isn't a love story. It's a power game. And you're here to win. Rule silently. The loudest person is never the most powerful. They want to be seen. They want to be heard. They want to be validated. But the real ones? They move quietly. No announcements, no explanations, no begging. They upgrade in silence. They execute in silence. They build influence through restraint. Let others speak first. Let others brag. Let others show their hand. You wait. You study. You strike when ready. Power is felt, not shouted. By the time they notice what you're doing, it's already too late. The system, mindset. Weak minds think emotionally. Strong minds think in systems. You're not here to feel your way through life. You're here to design it. You don't fix habits with willpower. You replace systems. You don't control people by arguing. You control environments. Control the setting, and you control the behavior. That's why you don't waste time convincing people. You structure things so they have no choice. Build routines that protect your mind. Set boundaries that protect your energy. Design relationships that reward loyalty and punish disrespect. Don't scream about your standards. Build systems that enforce them. And remember, discipline isn't motivation. It's system-based momentum. You don't ask, "Do I feel like it?" You do it, because that's who you are. Emotional weak points to destroy. To become truly untouchable, you must identify and destroy the last emotional landmines within you. Ask yourself, do you still need to be liked? Do you still fear being misunderstood? Do you still crave revenge for past betrayal? Do you still check on people who've moved on? Do you still react to disrespect with emotion? If yes, those are cracks in your armor. Seal them, because as long as you're emotionally penetrable, you're strategically weak. True strength is silent. It doesn't look tough, it acts without warning, and that scares people more than anything. When you feel nothing, you see everything. Most people are emotionally blind. They miss the truth because they want the fantasy. But when you feel nothing, you see clearly. You see the betrayal before it happens. You see the manipulation before it forms. You see the weak posturing as strong. You notice patterns. You anticipate moves. You make decisions based on facts, not hope. That clarity, that's your edge. Because now you're 5 moves ahead while they're still caught up in feelings. The art of disappearing. Never underestimate the power of walking away. Sometimes the best move is no move. Silence, absence, vanishing. People expect confrontation. They expect arguments, tears, rage. Give them nothing. Let them hear your absence louder than your words. Let them realize what they lost when they feel the vacuum you left. Disappearing is an art, and it's far more effective than staying where you're not respected. Control the internal and the external obies. When your internal world is disciplined, calm, and unshaken, the external world starts to shift around you. You stop attracting chaos. You stop chasing validation. You stop reacting like everyone else. And others begin to follow your lead. Not because you told them to, but because they recognize something rare in you. You don't overthink. You act. You don't complain. You move. You don't feel lost. You command direction. That presence is felt before a word is spoken, and that presence is earned through control. No one owns you, not your past, not your failures, not your trauma, not your parents, not your enemies, not even your former self. You are no longer that version of you who begged, explained, apologized, or hoped. You don't need saving. You don't need fixing. You don't need understanding. You are your own weapon, refined by pain, sharpened by silence, tempered by discipline. You are now untouchable. You don't feel everything. You feel what matters.